When I started freelancing back in 2008, I got a couple of clients right away. So I thought, this is easy, and I instantly quit my full-time job. And I felt like a genius for about 3 or 4 months. And then it turned into a disaster. Over the next year, I lost my clients, I went broke, and I maxed out my credit cards. That was about 16 years ago. I eventually figured it out, and I ended up with an extremely high-paying freelance career. However, by quitting my job too fast, the whole experiment almost turned into a disaster. So how do you know when you're ready to make the leap and quit your job? Well, here are 3 criteria you can use to tell if you're ready to make the leap to full-time freelancer. My name's Henry Bingaman. I've been earning a living online as a freelancer or independent professional since 2008. Today, on top of freelancing, I make videos like this to help you build a high-income freelance career. The first criteria to make the leap and quit your job is if you have enough money to live for about 6 months without any extra income. Especially in the beginning days, it's a little bit of a rocky road with income. You're not sure exactly how much to charge clients for your work. You're not sure if the clients are going to pay the bills on time. It's just a world of uncertainty. Now, the fact is you're going to be able to charge more than you think for the work, and most of your clients will almost always pay on time. But that 6 months gives you comfort. That's really what it's there for. It's the psychological safety to know that you're not going to starve to death if you get one late invoice, or if you have one client and it just doesn't work out, and then the second client you had lined up isn't ready to work with you. You just need that little bit of extra time. If you have enough money to live for 6 months without the income, you're probably ready to financially make the leap to freelancing. The second criteria, you already have a client that you'll likely be able to work with already lined up. Look, there's obviously no guarantee here. This client, even if you've negotiated with them until they've actually signed the paperwork and written you your first check, there's no guarantee they'll be a client, but you can be like 90% plus sure that if you have a client lined up that's ready to work with you and agreed to your terms already, that client is going to stick around. You don't want to quit your job and just be out there in the wild trying to dig up your first client. You need to have something lined up. Now, one of the tips I always tell people is there's a great chance, especially in this economy, that your current employer could be your first freelance client. Obviously, it depends on the type of work you're doing. But if you're employed full-time, it makes sense if you're looking to leave anyway to have a gentle discussion with whoever would make that hiring decision for a freelancer if you convert to a freelance career. In some cases, they'll say no, and that's fine. But in some cases, they'll say yes, because it saves them so much money on insurance and benefits and all the extra costs of having an employee. If they could pay you the same wage and have you go freelance, they're very often going to be happy to do that, especially if you're one of their more productive workers. Because they're going to start thinking he or she might leave if I don't agree to this, it does give them that extra motivation to hire you on because you already know their systems, you don't have to be trained again. It saves them money versus having to hire an entirely new employee. So if they believe that you can be productive working as a freelancer, there's a good chance you're going to be able to have your employer be your first client. The third criteria that you need to have in place before you quit your job is you need a plan to keep getting new clients. I've talked about the feast or famine cycle in previous videos, and I'm sure I'll bring it back again. It's just brutal to have to go through, and it taxes your emotions like almost nothing else. Feeling 1 month like you're on top of the world and everything's going great, and then a couple months later, potentially having no clients and all the money dry up, this has to be avoided. And the thing you need to avoid that is a plan to consistently get new clients. Now, there are a couple different ways of doing this, and I'll talk about a few of them in future videos, and I've talked about other ones in the past, and I have courses on how to do this. But you just need a way to get clients. If you can send out an email to your prospects in the past and say, hey, I'm ready to start working with you. Or if you can build a backlog, a calendar of clients that are going to start working with you in a few months, you have a lot more ability to plan out your income. And that planning out, knowing that you're not going to be dipping into that 6 months of savings and you're not going to be without clients and without work is going to be so psychologically comforting. It's going to make your freelance career a whole lot more enjoyable and just a smoother ride overall. Now, those are 3 things that you do need in place. There are a couple more things that you don't need in place to be ready to get out there and start a freelance career. The first thing you don't need is to be the best in the world at your skill. It's almost never going to happen. You might be a rare talent out there, but for the most part, you're not going to be the best in the world at any one skill. And that doesn't matter. Not every company thinks they're hiring the best writer or designer or coder. They want somebody good enough to get the work done at an affordable rate. They want to make sure that you can provide value to their company, to benefit them, to help them make money. That's all you need. If you can make more money for them than they're paying you, they're getting a good deal. And so are you. So don't think you have to be the best. It will pay you to improve your skills constantly over a career, but you're definitely not going to be the best when you first go freelance. The other thing you don't need is to feel 100% like you're ready to go. Look, you're never going to feel 100% ready to quit your job and take this leap into this brave world of freelancing. You might not even feel 95% or 90% ready. You need to feel mostly ready. And if you have those other 3 criteria in place, it's going to be a much smoother ride, and you're going to be very happy you made this decision to go freelance. It's never going to be the most comfortable decision, but it just could be the best decision of your life. All right, another way to know you're ready is to make sure you have the right tools in place to impress your clients. And I happen to have a report that shows you the 5 best free tools that make even new freelancers look like seasoned pros. You can go to henrybing.co/free tools to download that. There'll be a link in the description. The other thing that'll really help your freelance career, if you're on the fence of going full time, is to subscribe to this channel. I'm putting out 3 videos a week that give you great freelance tips, and you can get on my email list and get even more tips that way. So hit the subscribe button, like this video, tell your friends about it, and I will catch you in the next one.